Is that she's liked every guy in the school.
That's not true.
And your biggest flex for you?
That I have diabetes.
Oh, okay. What is that?
It's an insulin pump. It's type 1, so it's not curable.
Why you guys laughing about her diabetes?
You know, it's so sad. You just saw this video came out of nowhere. I don't know why they would make me, well, I don't know why this video will come up in my YouTube browser, but it came in. Obviously it's because these kids are high schoolers, as you can see, and of course stimulations. Oh my gosh, they're like playing my libido. They're trying to make me look at this kid in these different perceptions and try to make me imagine in a way that's like appealing and make me feel something sexual. And it's funny, you know, and they're like, oh, she's pretty. It's like, yeah, she's very pretty, but she's like a kid. She's like a baby. But good for her. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they're like, oh no, you think she's pretty? It's like, yeah, she's good. Yeah, pretty. You know, good for her. Like, you know, I'm sure she's, you know, she has a lot of kids in her class that, you know, like, good for her. But they're forcing me to try to get like feeling, sensation, and stimulation toward her. Feelings are sexual. And they try to go into my memories, making me imagine like in movies, like, you know, when there's like the popular high school kid, and try to, like, it's crazy. This is just a baby. But they're trying to find ways to make me look at her in a sexual way. Now, you've seen how young they can do that too. Like the babies, they can do this too, right? So this is nothing to them. If they can do that to like even middle schooler, elementary, like they do all these nasty foul things. And so for me, they want me to accept of how they make me react to children of all ages. If they can do that to little kids, of course they can do that to older kids, even these babies. Like, to me, it's like it's a kid. It's like, to me, well, to everybody, she's a kid. She's a baby. Well, she's not a baby. She's a kid. But these reactions is what they force me to have, and this is what they're going to do every time. And they try to find ways to make me look at them in a sexual way. They try to find ways to make me look at her, you know, like the way I would look at her when if she was like an adult, and give me sensation, stimulation. And you know, they're like, oh, you find her pretty. She's very pretty, but I would not react this way toward her, this kid. You're forcing me to experience these ways of experiencing things. The reason why I make these videos, it's because target individuals, they want you to be identifying to things. They want you to be like, oh, you react this way. Not only I don't subscribe to it, I record this and I was like, yes, you are making me experiencing this way, these things, these ways. As I'm not the first and I won't be the last one. And they try to find ways to make me look at her and try to find the way she looks, you know, and try to make me imagine like an adult version of her. And she's very pretty teenage kid, good for her. But I will not react this way. I will not feel this stimulation and sensation. It's obviously, that this is like a popular kid that probably, you know, like she's the popular girl in the class or whatever. But they are trying to get me to accept these ways of reacting. And I hear this bottom feelings who 2 seconds ago made me have this different logic in my brain toward babies. And you gotta be strong. I've been consistently making videos about all the different, from the 9-year-old, a 9-year-old, to these high schoolers, to the babies. What's the pattern here? The pattern is they've been doing these nasty things to people, to children of all ages. And whatever they can create to force a perception that is sexual, that is stimulating, they're going to try to get you to accept these things. They're going to try to make you try to look at kids in a sexual way. That is a tactic they've been doing for a long time. Any ways possible. Try to create whatever ways of perceiving a child in a sexual way. And to the point where it's like, oh, you think she's pretty? Yeah. Okay, yes. And to them, it's like, you see? Do you think, well, she's not pretty? Of course. But she's like a kid. And these people are like they want you to start like thinking this reaction to these kids, pretty, ugly, whatever, is naturally happening. But you should be strong enough to understand. Do not subscribe to this bubble they've created. You have heard all the illogicalness throughout my videos. I want to show all of the from the extreme to the less extreme to the extremely retarded. I'm not gonna let them live their fantasy. Target individuals, we've been pushed into ways of thinking and perceiving that is not naturally happening. They will continuously force me to look at children of all age in a sexual way. This is going to be a pattern from the youngest to the oldest. They're going to try to make you feel like this, that, and if they can try to make you look at this kid in a way that you could look at an adult, and so they'll do it. And they're like, in my brain, they're like, oh, but if there's a features of pretty, everything they can do to create a perception that's sexual. From the ugly to the pretty, to the youngest, to the oldest kids, they're gonna do that. That's how it goes. It's so nasty. And then somebody in the balcony just yelled, "She's pretty." It's like, okay, wow. They want you to maintain this level of illogicalness. The bubble they try to create is a bubble where you are subscriptive to these things. Know yourself. They've done this to much younger kids than her, babies. When you see her, the worst part is when I saw that in the thumbnail, because in thumbnails just zoom in, you just see the face. It's harder to see. When you see how short and small, petite, and like had a little kid, how much of a high schooler she is, it's worse. It's like more obvious that she's a baby. In the thumbnail, it was kind of hard because the picture was very zoomed in. She kind of looked more like an older, like late teen, and but you look at her, she's like a 16-year-old kid for sure. She's a baby, and they're gonna do their best. In my head, they're like, oh, but you think when she grows, I'm sure, good for her. It's delusional. Target individuals, stay strong. Listen to the testimonials. They have these methods of forcing men and women to be stimulated in these disturbing ways toward children. Just understand, that's their job. It is a humiliating ways of living. This video did not come on my YouTube page because just natural. No, they made this thing come up. They do these things where they want me to look at this and be like, oh, you see? It's like, no, first you make me see this, then you're gonna manipulate me this ways, and then and then you're gonna try to have these dialogues and these dialogues and this back and forth manipulation in my brain. They rewire the brain in these ways. The dialogues I keep talking about is how they can create thoughts in your head, and they try to have this back and forth in your brain to create some kind of battles and kind of push you to insanity. What I'm saying, I know sounds crazy, but target individuals knows that once you have the V2K going on, they have these ways of trying to break you down, making you think in ways that are not natural, and it's not you naturally, and they even try to get you to have rationalities that make sense of what they do, and they have this back and forth, try to create mental stress. But it's gonna happen continuously. The reason why I make videos, I just want to continuously show the patterns of what I've been saying, the different version of manipulation toward children they have me have. But now, I'm in my 1000th video, you'll see a lot of this. Babies, toddlers, elementary, middle schoolers, high schoolers, and of course you can imagine why is like, if they can do that to the babies, to the older kids, they can do this much easier, because they can make it resemble more like adults than the baby ones. So you gotta be strong. So to all my target individuals, know yourself and know that this reaction will not happen naturally.
In 2015, I began to experience what some call V2K, or voice to skull. This involves the projection of voices, noises, and music directly into my mind to communicate with me in real time and at the speed of thought. And it also includes the manipulation of thoughts, emotions, and perceptions in the person's mind. Additionally, the targeting is all highly perverted and sexual, as well as destructive and violent.
They're trying to take over my mind, putting thoughts of pedophilia. It's disgusting. Take this whole thing into account so much. I make it so dramatic. It is dramatic. It's somebody trying to end my life. It's somebody trying to end who I am as a person. It's somebody trying to take over my mind, putting thoughts of pedophilia. It's disgusting things. You saw where I was going with that first word. Disgusting things that I don't even want to talk about because it makes me sick. I don't even like those words in my mind. But it is what it is. So I have no choice now but to acknowledge that there are people in my surroundings or whatever they're doing. I don't know how they do it.
I can be free from this torture. Every day has been a miracle of survival. I also experience what is referred to as malodorance. This is the alteration of the smell sensation so that I am often made to smell various things, including smoke, burning, dirty diaper, or baby powder, which they sometimes combine with the pedophilia type of torture, including the threat of planted dreams and videos in my closed eyes.
Any part of the body. This technology can be used to sexually manipulate the target. It can make the target feel sexual arousal, or it can sort of turn off the
Is that she's liked every guy in the school.
That's not true.
And your biggest flex for you?
That I have diabetes.
Oh, okay. What is that?
It's an insulin pump. It's type 1, so it's not curable.
Why are you guys laughing about her diabetes?
What I say. Playing with my dog. So that attacks continue. I don't let them get me. Today, they continue with the programming of perversion, but this time they are aiming in the use. A people, better said young people, also children and homosexuals. When I aggravated them, I usually called demeaning names, and one of them is referring to homosexuals. For me, all of the slaves are misfits, society haters, scumbags, etc. No, I don't have anything personal against them, homosexuals, but as my way to aggravated the slaves, and since they love to use children for the torture and stalking, street theater etc. Especially teenagers for the stalking at close range with an attitude, they are using them during my sleep in the perversion program, and so you can imagine what the slave